Bashim Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, Lavachayim, Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, which is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Bashim, which means in the name of. Yahweh Shai is the name of the only begotten Son, who was sent to deliver the children of Israel from their sins. Bashim Kakadash means in the name of the Holy Spirit, the volume of the book, the Spirit of truth. Shalom, Lavachayim, peace to the elect. That's the men, women, and children whose names are written in the book of life, who will be delivered in these last days. All right, well, there's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be instances where things get shaky and get rough, but the Most High is going to be with us, as he was always with his servants. All right, those that truly believe in his will, those that truly believe in the power, all right, of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai are going to be safe in that day. That's why the scriptures tell you that the name of the Lord is a strong tower. Right. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. Okay. So in the time to come where there's going to be a blast, there's going to be turmoil, there's going to be heat, there's going to be a flood. All right. You need that tower. Okay, that tower is going to be our safe haven, our rest, okay, our comforter in these last days. The Holy Spirit will come upon particular souls to show forth the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and to preserve those souls to salvation, okay? And these accounts are going to occur. These events are going to occur, thus saith the Bible. All right, there's another video I wanted to do. You know, I'm just waiting the Spirit to give me, you know, a little more on it. You know, I got an idea on it, but how the scriptures tell you that in so many words, you see in the past how the truth is what got the the temple of the Lord built, right? The first temple was built by Solomon, all right, which was in reincarnation of Yahweh Shai, who is what? The truth. All right, when the temple was rebuilt, the reason why it got rebuilt is because the man in First Ezra, the third and the fourth chapter, all right, who was Zerubbabel was there as well, who helped build the temple, but there was another man there who presented the truth to be the strongest thing on earth and the biggest influence on man on earth. And then when that passed the test, the king said, he reminded the king that he would keep the oath to what? Build the temple of the Lord. Okay, so and just like now, in the time to come, what we're in, what the elect souls are involved with, is the truth, and that is the foundation of the temple of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay. Now, going into the aspect of, you know, like I said, the title is Judges the 15th chapter. All right, we're trusting in that same process of the truth to be our rest haven, to be our safe way, to be our recompense upon our enemies as well. Okay, without further ado, because it's not a long chapter, but I want to go into it and touch on a few points, and Lord's will to be edifying, because again, this is a shadow of things to come. All right, Judges the 15th chapter, in the first verse, it says, "But it came to pass within a while after, in the time of wheat harvest." Right, and what is wheat harvest? That's basically in the fall time. After the crops are grown, you go to pluck up. Now, also, too, what does the scriptures tell you that the harvest represents? The harvest represents, is Matthew 13:39. The enemy that sowed is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels, right? So in the scriptures, when the harvest time represents the end. Why? Because even when you look from a climate perspective, the beginning of the year is when? Okay, when the springtime occurs. Okay, that's the beginning. That's the beginning of the year. And then as you see the harvest come in, that's when you see the fall, where the leaves are falling, the crops are no longer growing, the shrubs are dying. You know, we're getting towards the end of the year. Okay, just like Yahweh Shai likened the end of the world being what? The harvest time, the time to reap. Okay, so just wanted to throw that out there. And again, this is just a shadow of things to come. This is reminiscent of the things to come. Now it says here, right? That Samson visited his wife with a kid, meaning a baby goat, meaning he came with a present. And he said, I will go into my wife into the chamber, but her father would not suffer him to go in, right? Meaning what? The father didn't want Samson to be the husband of his daughter, right? Of that particular daughter. And her father said, I verily thought that thou hadst utterly hated her, therefore I gave her to thy companion. Is not her younger sister fairer than she? Take her, I pray thee, instead of her. And Samson said concerning them, now shall I be more blameless than the Philistines, though I do them a displeasure. Right, meaning, look, now I have a reason to, to not boast upon, but to withstand them, because he was going back and forth with the Philistines prior anyway. But remember, at this time during the book of Judges, the Philistines are the ones in power, and they're the ones ruling over the children of Israel. They had the children of Israel in subject. But this gave Samson a reason to basically, get vengeance upon them. And it's the same thing with us, because we're in America, the so-called Negro, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the 12 tribes of Israel, all right? And we're being treated unfairly, all right? And this is what it eggs us on to do this work, because that's why the scriptures say, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and the gift destroyeth the heart. When we see the current events, we see the things that are being done to our people, and not only to our people, but unto us, and then mainly the brethren in the body, all right? How they're attacking the ministry, how they're attacking the truth, all right? Essentially the temple of the Lord. This gives, it makes us show us that we're more blameless than the Edomites, than the children of the Babylonians here in America. All right, check this out. All right, it says what? Because we read these stories prior, but when you go back and read it with more understanding, you get more out of it. Okay, it says what? And Samson said concerning them, now shall I be more blameless than the Philistines. Let's take a look at the word blameless real quick. All right. The word there is naqua, all right? To be empty, be clear, be pure, be free. And what's making us pure in these last days? We're seeing the atrocities. We're seeing, all the calamities and all the persecutions of our people, even onto us, all right? And then, the hell with 2/3, more so toward the body, because the real showdown is occurring. Because remember, Samson was a judge. He was chosen to be a leader of the people. And that's what, when you see all the events that's taking place, is all to point the finger at the leaders of our people. Again, the true judges that are rising in these last days, all right? Those that are a part of that number, the 144,000. That's what everything is. Everything that's occurring right now is to target 12,000 men out of each tribe of those people, okay? So as we're getting the word, all right, and we're seeing that things vex our spirit, we're understanding that these devils need to go down. Okay? It says what? And Samson went and caught 300 foxes and took firebrands, meaning what? Torches, right? And turned tail to tail and put the firebrand in the midst between two tails, right? And basically, when you go into the etymology of what's going on, the context of what's going on, like as the scripture said, the man caught 300 foxes. Now, you got to be a bad dude to do that first and foremost, all right? To show you that Samson was a swift individual. Not only was he so strong, because Samson's known for his strength and what he's done, but he was also, you have to be swift to catch a fox. Remember, Yahweh Shai said what? He called Herod a fox. Why? Because Herod was being slick. The nature of a fox is to be slick. So in order to catch 300 foxes, you have to have some type of wittiness about you. All right, you have to have the spirit of the Lord on you, essentially. And just like you go back into the times of Noah, all right, what happened with Noah? Noah, he had the spirit of the Lord on him. He had the spirit, because what? Noah's name means Nawak, all right, it means what? To comfort. He had that spirit on him, that all the earth was in subjection to him, all right? And that's going to come back in these last days as well. That's why the scriptures tell you that the beasts of the field shall be in league with thee. The stones of the field shall be in league with thee. Meaning what? The men of the Lord, those that fear the name of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? So it says what? And when he had set the brands of fire, he let them go into the standing corn of the Philistines and burnt up both the shocks and also the standing corn with the vineyards and olives. So when he made this he tied the foxes up with the fire, he allowed them to run into the field of corn. Now, what is corn? Corn is a non-perishable item, okay? And when it's something that's non-perishable, doesn't lose value. And remember, this is how the Egypt lasted, okay? Mind you, not to segue off, but the Philistines are what? They're cousins to the Egyptians, to Matazarium, okay? So in order to have your society last, what did they do? They allowed the corn, okay? They started to raise corn. Why? Just in case of a famine again, okay? You got to put it in the proper perspective and think how they were thinking back during that time, because this is not too long after Egypt and, the records were kept. Nevertheless, if Samson allowed them to run through the corn, what was he doing? He was messing with their money. Okay, he was messing with, interrupting their enterprise. Okay, just like how the scriptures tell you, right? But basically, us going out to the highways and hedges, we're interrupting his enterprise. Okay, by us preaching the truth and standing for the truth. All right, it's interrupting his enterprise, and that's what ultimately Samson did with what? With that fire. And it's the same thing now. What are we doing? We're speaking the word of the Lord, which is likened unto what? Fire. Okay? And it's burning down the corn. Corn can, when you go into the scriptures as well, corn being a non-perishable item, okay? Corn is also likened to what? Philosophy. Okay? So if the corn is being burnt, that means what? The philosophy of that particular society is going down. That's another way it could be looked at. Okay? That's why I named this video, Judges 15, a shadow of things to come. It's not to be taken literal, okay? But those things that happened literally back then in the flesh, all right, are happening now spiritually. And also, too, the things that happened back then carnally in the flesh are going to happen again, all right? I'm going to keep going. This is a beautiful story to read, all right, when you get the proper understanding on it. It says what? With the vineyards, another non-perishable item. The olives, another a non-perishable item. Okay? Typically, olives are what? They're pickled. And olives will last you forever. These are all non-perishable items. Okay? Which what? Add value to a society. Right? The word of the Lord is being brought forth out in this time now. And what is it doing? It's literally bringing down the economy of this world. Okay? It says what? Then the Philistines said, who have done this? And they answered Samson, the son-in-law, the Timnite, because he had taken his wife and given her to his companion, right? And the Philistines came up and burnt her and her father with the fire. You see, and they basically started to turn on each other because of these situations, all right? And that's when you see this, even in this time now, you see what's going on with you people, even the people, the Trumpers, if you will, the people that follow Trump and the ones that follow Biden. Okay, you see this world, this society turning on him. The scriptures say, if a kingdom be divided, how shall it stand? A kingdom can't be divided. A kingdom can't be divided and stand. So one way, shape, or another, if the division is caused, that is the beginning of the downfall of a society. Okay, so we're living in that right now. We're living in the beginning of the downfall of America. Why is that? Because you see the people turning on one another. All right? And because of the truth being brought forth. Okay? It says what? It says, verse 7, and Samson said unto them, though ye have done this, yet will I be avenged of you. After that I will cease. And he smote them hip and thigh with a great slaughter, and he went down and dwelt in the top of the rock of Etam. Right, so they noticed that ultimately what? This is because of Samson and what he did. So what did the Philistines look to do? Which you could look at the Philistines now. I don't think if I mentioned that earlier, but you look at the Philistines now as what? Your modern day Babylonians, your common Americans today. All right? The society that we live in, the power structure of the world today. They seeing the problem. They're looking at the men of the Lord. They're looking at the modern day judges and saying, look, we got to get them. This is the problem. This is why our society is going down. This is why we're turning on our fellow men. Okay? It says what? The scriptures tell you, it says what? He that, 1 second. This is the book of, right, verse Isaiah chapter 59 and 15. Yeah, truth faileth, right? And he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. You see? So when you make yourself separate from this world, right, you make yourself a prey. You make yourself to be looked at in the scopeo in a bad light of this world. Because that's going to happen. Wanted signs, you're going to have advertisements on social media ads. You're going to have commercials, infomercials. You see how you pull up a YouTube video and all of a sudden a commercial come up? Well, guess what? In the time to come, there's going to be commercials, if you will, or promotions or public service announcements about the men of the Lord. All right? These things are going to happen. Why? Because we departed ourselves from this world. All right? We're essentially burning down the corn. All right? It says what? And the Lord saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. Right? So let's go back to, let's go back to Judges 15, right? It says what? Verse 9. Then the Philistines went up and pitched in Judah and spread themselves in Lehi. Meaning what? Then when this happened, they basically created a martial law situation. All right? They compassed the city round about. Just like how the Syrians did, all right, during the time of Elisha. Okay? When they were looking to put Elisha to death because of the uprising that he was causing. Okay? What did the Syrians do? All right, they went to go kill Elisha, but Elisha blinded them and made them go into Samaria. That's where you get the story in 2 Kings, I think is what, the 6th chapter, about the besieging of Samaria. Why did the besieging of Samaria happen? Ultimately because of Elisha. Ultimately because of the prophet that was on the scene. You see? It says what? Verse 10, and the men of Judah said, why are ye come up against us? And they answered, to bind Samson. Are we come up to do him as he hath done to us? You see? Now, when the Philistines rose up against Samson, look who came to bind Samson. His own people. You see, that's why the Spirit be on the brothers Akim from the apostles on up to tell you about your own people. See, that's why I said even earlier, to hell with the 2/3. To hell with the other people that not in this truth. Family members included. Okay? Why? Because when it was time that, look, here it is, Samson made a move on those that were oppressing his people, and it was his own people that were being oppressed to come and bind him up. All right? This is a scripture I like to keep in mind because it's true. All right? If I'm not mistaken, is it John? Right, John chapter 16, verse 1. These things I have spoken unto you, this is Yahweh Shai speaking, that ye should not be offended. Meaning this shouldn't make you stumble. All right? They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yeah, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth the Most High good service. Meaning who? Your own people are going to rise up against you in that day. You see? That's who came to bind up Samson. All right? When Samson was infuriated because his woman was being taken, the scriptures tell you that the jealousy is the rage of a man. He shall not spare in the day of judgment. Okay? Just like us. Right now, spiritually, they're trying to take our woman away. Meaning what? Our wisdom, our knowledge, our understanding. You see, by cutting off the internet, persecuting brothers getting locked up, or going through all kind of mayhem and turmoil because of the truth. So they're trying to take our woman away. You see, but we keep coming with that fire. We keep coming with that heat, right? And it's becoming a nuisance. Hey, the Spirit's on me, and I was talking to a particular brother today, and we were talking about how you see these celebrities, man. A lot of these basketball players are speaking up against the agenda of this man. What do you think that the truth doesn't have? I'm talking about, when I say the truth, I'm talking about Great Millstone, but just the knowledge of being in Israel in general. You think that don't have a effect on those so-called celebrities? All right, these so-called actors and mainly these basketball players they've been putting on the spotlight. You have basketball players that have friends, okay, in the neighborhoods they come from, who are in the truth. So you think that don't have an influence? And you know how Jake, they talk and, you know, they politic, you know? So that has an influence. The truth has an influence. Look at, you go back, let's go back 2011, 2012. All right? Jake wasn't rocking no beards like that. You know? Brothers know, man. Brothers that were around, like, that were really paying attention. Brother, to have a beard back then was like a, oh shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? But now it's like, you know, a fad. It's become the thing. Why? Because of the image of the truth, because of the persona of the truth, because of Israel, because of the men that are going out there in the highways and hedges and standing on what they believe. Best believe that, man. There's power in this word. Okay? So it says what? There's power in the truth, like I said in the beginning of the video. Okay? The truth is what built the temple in every way, shape, form, and fashion. And the truth is going to build the third temple. The truth is building the third temple. Okay? So it says what? Oh, I'm in the wrong chapter. Salakia. Let's go back. This is going back to Judges chapter 15, right? I'm going to read verse 11 again. Oh, verse 10. And the men of Judah said, why are ye come up against us? You see how his own people felt? Look, you coming up against us, burning down their corn. Same thing they did to Moses, man. You see? He said, why you, what did, Samson didn't do nothing to the Judites, but the Judites got mad because he was burning down the corn of the Philistines. Listen to what it says. This is niggas right here. Why are you come up against us? And they answered, and the men of Judah said, why are you come up against us? And they answered, to bind Samson, are we come up to do him as he have done to us? Then 3,000 men of Judah went up to the top of the rock of Etam and said to Samson, knowest thou not that the Philistines are rulers over us? That's what they saying now. That's what they're going to say even more. Look, man, you know we in America, man. You know we ain't got, man, we got to do what we got to do to survive, brother. You know? We got to eat, man. We got families and stuff, man. I got to try to keep my job, man. You go over here with this truth and all that. It's the same thing. Showing you who these people are, man. We're the only people that love the other nations we're the only people that love our oppressors more than we love our own brother. That shows you who the true Israelites are. That's the curses. All right, you can go into the history and see these different occurrences reoccurring. Okay? Here it is, the children of Israel in the middle of nowhere. Literally. No landmarks. Nowhere. They don't know where they're going. The Lord has opened up the water, the seas, drowned the biggest nation, the strongest nation, army in the waters. You get out to the wilderness and you complaining and want to kill the men that got you through the situation. Who are these people? Okay? He says what? It says, what is this that thou hast done to us? And he said unto them, as they did unto me, so have I done unto them. Samson like, look, man, they you know, you think of that movie. But it's a society, man. They killed your goddamn cousin in front of you, man. Hell no, I ain't letting that shit ride. You know, and that's how the men of the Lord feel, man. We're looking at all the atrocities that this man has done to us. Look, man. Lord's will, that video is coming, man. You know? It talks about how the Edomites, man, they tore down the temple in First Ezra, the 4th chapter, man. All right? Them and the Babylonians, man. That's why David recorded that in Psalms 137. All right? And that's what's going on now. And it's you niggas, man. You niggas are the problem. Don't you realize these Uncle Tom sellout niggas? I'm talking about Johanna and all those that agree with the agenda of this man that's moving forward in front of your face. Basically, you the same men that allowed the temple to be defiled during the time of the Greeks. You was allowing that pork to be, that swine to be sacrificed on the altar, nigga. You was actually helping with the situation. That's them same niggas. Don't the scriptures tell you that the body of your body is not the Lord's temple, and you allowing these devils to defile our bodies, to defile the temple? That's you same niggas. All right? Same thing went back on during the time of Samson. Okay? And they said unto him, we are come down to bind thee, that we may deliver thee into the hand of the Philistines. And Samson said unto them, swear unto me that ye will not fall upon me yourselves. Meaning what? Look, I'll allow you to bind me, but don't kill me. All right? It says what? And they spake unto him, saying, no, but we will bind thee fast, meaning tighten you up real good, and deliver thee into their hand. But surely we will not kill thee. And they bound him with 2 new cords and brought him up from the rock. And when he came unto Lehi, the Philistines shouted against him. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him. And the cords that were upon his arms became as flax, meaning what? Like tar. They melted when the Spirit of the Lord came upon him on those cords that they bound Samson with. So the Most High sent forth angels to set those cords on fire and melt them. All right? This is, see, when you stand up for righteousness, the Lord will always intervene. All right? When you stand up for truth, the Lord will always guide you and assist you in all things. Right? And this is being shown from a physical standpoint. It says what? And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, right? And the cords that were upon his arms became as flax that was burnt with fire, and his bands loosed from off his hands. You see? And he found, just like the story with Paul, when he was bound inside that jail, the angel of the Lord came and caused the earthquake to break the bars of that jail, so so that Paul could be free. And then what happened? The ward, or the centurion, if you will, or the guard of that prison, he wanted to kill himself. But remember, Paul said, look, the brother, don't do that. It's not your fault. But then that guard recognized the Spirit of the Lord. And then what happened? Paul gave him a blessing and said, look, man, you witnessed the power of the Lord in so many words. He said, you and your house is going to be delivered. You see? It says what? Verse 15, and he found a new jawbone of an ass and put forth his hand and took it and slew 1,000 men therewith. And Samson said, with the jawbone of an ass, heaps upon heaps, with the jaw of an ass have I slain 1,000 men. You see? And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hand and called the place Ramath Lehi, right? That means, if I'm not mistaken, I've checked it earlier, it means on top of Lehi, right? It says what? And he was sore athirst and called on the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Thou hast given this great deliverance at the hand of thy servant. Now shall I die of thirst and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised? But the Most High clave the hollow place that was in the jaw. The same jawbone he used to swing and kill 1,000. The Most High created the Most High created water to come in that, right? And then it says what? And when he had drunk, his spirit came again and he revived. Because if you slay 1,000 men with one jawbone, it's crazy that the jawbone didn't even break, right? So he's swinging it, boom, boom, knocking him out, hitting him. So he became thirsty. He thought he was going to die, right? Why? Because he was still in the flesh. Then he prayed to the Lord, said, Lord, you going to let me die? Thirst? I thought I delivered. You know, I show forth a mighty work through your hands. And then Most High gave him water, let him drink. He came back. He was revived. He was good. That was that living water, man. Oh, when you look at Yahweh Shai, when he fed the multitude with the loaves and the fish, right? I believe it said it was 6,000 or 5,000 men, right? Or 5,000 of the multitude, if you will, right? It said they were all filled up. All right? So these are the things that we got to keep in mind if you stay firm in the mind of the Lord, right? Because these certain occurrences are going to, certain circumstances, you're going to get put in certain circumstances, but when you stay faithful, all right, and asking the Lord, he's going to deliver you and show forth what you need to do to get to salvation. All right, it says what? And he revived, wherefore he called the name thereof En Hakore, which is in Lehi unto this day. Now, when you look this word up, this is a En Hakore, all right? It is, man, here it goes. Now, yeah, it's Ayan Hakwa Wara'ah, or Hakwara, which means, it says spring of one calling. All right, but when you, I'll just say this real quick. When you go into this word Ayan, I, Ya, and a Na, Ayan means the I. All right, now this could be a typo. It could have meant to put Ayan with a Ah, which means I, or I, I calling, or I'm calling. All right, that could be the case, you know, but this is, you know, basically what it means. It says the spring of one calling, right? Because what? He got that living water from calling upon the name of the Lord, man. All right, the Most High revived him after him calling upon the Lord, man. You see? And that's what we're hoping for in that day, that we won't be left desolate, that the Most High won't forsake us in that day. All right? That when we're at our weakest point and we need to be revived, we call upon the Lord and he execute that so we be renewed in the spirit. Okay? And that's pretty much it. That's the point, you know. Verse 29, just to finish it. And he judged Israel in the days of the Philistines 20 years. You see? Meaning what? He became ruler over the people. Okay? And that's what the elect, the 144,000, are going to be the rulers over all the rest of the nation. All right? And over the rest of the world. And this, yeah, that's right. All the nations, man. All the nations are going to be subject to the new rulers, the judges, the 144,000, 12,000 out of each tribe. I'm going to close on that. Call Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Kakadash.